Okay, so today we have Gordon Lightfoot, Canadian icon, and the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. So this will be a review, not a reaction. I have heard this song, but never in the setting, never, actually looked at the lyrics and all that stuff. And I wanted to do this because, of course, the Edmund Fitzgerald sank on November 10th, 1975. And when this comes out, it'll be the 11th, I do believe. So anyway, it's just been on my mind. It's been on TikTok as well. All of a sudden, I'm on Edmund Fitzgerald TikTok. But anyway, let's get into this, talk about it after. This is the longer version, I want to say, because there is an edit, but I don't think that's this one. So anyway, let's go. The wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchagumi. The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. With a load of iron ore, 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. That good ship and true was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November came early. The ship was the pride of the American side, coming back from some mill in Wisconsin. As the big freighters go, it was bigger than most, with a crew and good captain well seasoned, concluding some terms with a couple of steel firms when they left fully loaded for Cleveland. Then later that night when the ship's bell rang, could it be the north wind they'd been feeling? The wind in the wires made a tattletale sound, and the wave broke over the railing. And every man knew, as the captain did too, 'twas the witch of November come stealing. The dawn came late and the breakfast had to wait when the gales of November came slashing. When afternoon came, it was freezing rain in the face of a hurricane west wind. When supper time came, the old cook came on deck saying, "Fellas, it's too rough to feed you." 7 p.m. a main hatchway caved in. He said, "Fellas, it's been good to know ya."
My God.
The captain wired in, he had water coming in, and the good ship and crew was in peril. And later that night, when his lights went out of sight, came the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Does anyone know where the love of God goes when the waves turn the minutes to hours? The searchers all say they'd have made Whitefish Bay if they'd put 15 more miles behind her. They might have split up or they might have capsized. They may have broke deep and took water. And all that remains is the faces and the names of the wives and the sons and the daughters. Lake Huron rolls, Superior sings in the rooms of her ice water mansion. Old Michigan steams like a young man's dreams. The islands and bays are for sportsmen. And farther below, Lake Ontario takes in what Lake Erie can send her. The iron boats go, as the mariners all know, with the gales of November remembered. In a musty old hall in Detroit, they prayed in the Maritime Sailors' Cathedral. The church bell chimed till it rang 29 times for each man on the Edmund Fitzgerald. The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchagumi. Superior, they said, never gives up her dead when the gales of November come early.
Oh, my God. So there it is, the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald by Gordon Lightfoot. And like I said, I'm gonna like this video. Anyway, that's random. But like I said, I've heard the song on occasion. It's obviously one of Gordon Lightfoot's most known songs. But I've never listened to it with headphones like this, you know, very intimately and very seriously, I guess, you know, when I'm actually thinking all about it. And I have to say as well, I've always been fascinated. Not in a morbid way or whatever, but I've always been fascinated by shipwrecks, you might say, by ship sinkings. I mean, by obviously the Titanic, the Edmund Fitzgerald comes to mind. I don't know. I don't know why. Always, even since I was a kid, I guess, I've always been fascinated by the Titanic. I had books on the Titanic, and it's just like, I don't know, because there's so much mystery. And with the Titanic, I guess after all these, you know, over 100 years, we know how she sank. But here again, I don't know if they've ever actually come out with a complete, concrete evidence of how she actually sank. But at the same time, because again, Gordon does, I was going to say Edmund, but Gordon does give a few examples of how she might have sank. And, but yeah, and again, it's so sad. Obviously, it's tragic, and it's so scary, and it's intense, and it's so it's all full of mystery, and it's just I don't know. Yeah, it's tragic, like I said, and it's just so sad. And you have the song itself is obviously so haunting. You have the pedal steel guitar, the haunting riffs with that. You have the synthesizers, especially again. I got more of an appreciation for the instruments here, because usually you just listen to Gordon's voice. But yes, you have the squirrely, I guess, as it's been described as, the squirrely synths here. The I don't know, the production obviously too is haunting, and it's so like straightforward in a way. That's the word that comes to mind. It's just like when Gordon set out to write this song, to make this, to put this song out there, he knew, I would think he knew it had to be good. You can't talk about the Edmund Fitzgerald, one of the most known shipwrecks ever, and not have a shitty, you can't have the song be shitty. It has to be good, and it has to, live up to the hype, you might say, whatever. It has to live up to what we're talking about here. It has to be a good tribute to these 29 men who died, so tragically. And he did that. I don't know. So yeah, the production is just so good, I would have to say. And it's just, it's again, I think about the haunting guitar here. And the song is haunting itself because the whole shipwreck is haunting. And I've seen videos, not a bunch of videos, whatever the hell, but I've seen videos, I guess, of the ship under the on the sea floor. And again, it's just, I don't know. You look at that stuff, and it's just it's scary. I mean, again, I guess that's the word that comes to mind. It's haunting. I mean, that's the word of the day right there. And yeah, at the same time, though, Gordon's voice too, so strong, so straightforward too. He's one of the greatest storytellers there ever was. And he was he had to be the perfect guy to do this. Again, he's so good at telling stories, and this is a real story. And yeah, so he was the perfect guy to do it. And I don't know. He gave it the tribute it deserved, and yeah. So I always wanted to talk about him, and talk about the Edmund Fitzgerald here, the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Just again talking about these shipwrecks and all that stuff that's have always been kind of interesting to me. But I do want to mention the personnel here, because again, Gordon Lightfoot gets all the credit usually, but Gordon Lightfoot here on 12-string acoustic guitar and vocals. Again, I love his simple guitar playing in a way. I say simple. I know there's probably more intricacies and stuff like that, but at the same time, it's very kind of mellow in a way, because at the same time, you have the electric guitar, you have the pedal steel guitar, and the electric bass all doing a lot of work too. So him on his acoustic guitar, it's just, I don't know, it kind of takes a back seat a little bit, I would say. But anyway, maybe I'm dumb. Terry Clements is on electric guitar here. Pee Wee Charles, love that name, is on pedal steel guitar here. And again, he was a big part of this track. Rick Haynes is on electric bass. Barry Keane on drums. And Gene Martinek, I guess I would say Martinek, is on Moog synthesizer. My goodness gracious. And again, the synthesizer, again, like I said, is very prominent here. The squirrely kind of vibes, the almost wiry kind of sound it had, I really enjoyed, and it just fit the song so well. Again, I feel like everything had to be perfect. Gordon knew it, and everybody knew it. And they made it all perfect, because again, you don't want to make this song and have people affected by it be like, well, this song sucks, whatever. So anyway, I really enjoyed that. So going on to these lyrics, and again, I don't know if I'll read all this stuff, because that might make this video 20 and something minutes long, but we'll see what happens. The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchigumi. And I do believe there was an annotation here, but I do kind of know already that I think Gordon took that from a newspaper he read about this, where he got the inspiration for it. And again, in 1975, when it happened, I'm sure November 10th, after November 10th, it was a big thing. It was a big headline, and everyone was like, oh God, that's quite the story. My God, quite the tragic story. The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. And I do believe too that November, of course, is a bad month, for shipwrecks and all that stuff. Wind can get very bad around that time. And here we go here. With a load of iron ore, 26,000 tons more. So I guess, it was 26,000 tons more that she was carrying. Then the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. The goods shipping true was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November came early. And I forgot to mention, but I love his, obviously his tone, but how he would elongate, I guess you would say, the words at the end of his line. How, of course, what he would say, when the end of November came early, I don't know, just the way he would elongate a word. And he did that multiple times here. And the way he would rhyme stuff with Gitchigumi. I mean, goddamn, that's quite the feat in itself. So anyway, the ship was the pride of the American side. Again, everyone loved the ship. It was the pride of the American side. They loved it. My God. Coming back from some mill in Wisconsin. Again, we're telling the story here of what she was doing on her way, where she went, what she was carrying. Now she's coming home, whatever the hell. As the big freighters go, it was bigger than most. And I do believe it was the biggest freighter, I want to say at the time anyway. And again, you look at pictures of it, and it's like, my God. Again, just to think about how it sank and how it went down, and it's just like, you're fighting the waves, and all of a sudden you're under the water and you're going down to the bottom. I can't. It's not. I'm getting chills. I don't like thinking about that. Anyway, these guys had to go through it, obviously, and it was, they were gone. I'm sure pretty soon. It's just like, my God, with a crew and good captain, well seasoned. Again, given the compliments here, I mean, it was a good crew, it was a good captain, and they still went down. Concluding some terms with a couple of steel firms when they left fully loaded for Cleveland, and later that night when the ship's bell rang, could it be the north wind they'd been feeling? So again, they felt some wind. I do know as well, you want to say that they were telling, I think the last message they had, if I'm thinking of the right thing, the last message I think the captain must have sent was, we're holding our own, or something like that. And that was the last message the ship ever sent. I say message, I forget the actual terming, but anyway. The wind in the wires made a tattletale sound. Again, you could just see these visuals. You could hear it now. The detail that Gordon puts into this is immaculate. And a wave broke over the railing, and every man knew, as the captain did too, 'twas a witch of November come stealing. Again, it was happening. They knew it was happening. the November witch is coming upon them. The dawn came late, and the breakfast had to wait when the gates of November came slashing. Again, I just love the wording here. It's so perfect. I don't know how to say it any other way. When afternoon came, it was freezing rain in the face of the hurricane west wind. Again, a lot of talk about the weather, a lot of talk about what they were facing, and that's very important here. When suppertime came, the old cook came on deck and said, "Fellas, it's too rough to feed you." Again, they knew it was not going well, and when you can't eat because of, it's too rough, it's just, my God, things are going bad. At 7 p.m., the main hatchway caved in. He said, "Fellas, it's been good to know you." I don't mean to laugh, but it's just like, "Fellas, it's been good to know you." And it's just like, oh my God, it's so definite, and it's so blunt, and it's so appropriate as well. And it's just, I can't imagine being in their shoes. It just must have been hell, obviously. Scary as hell. The captain wired in, he had water coming in, and the good ship and crew was in peril. And later at night, when the lights went out of sight, came the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Again, it went down, it sank, and that was it. Does anyone know where the love of God goes when the waves turn the minutes to hours? Those two lines there are hard lines. Those are deep. Again, we talk about God, and, it's just, where was God? Whatever the hell, that question comes up. And when something happens like this, it's just like, where does the love of God go when this happens? Why didn't he prevent this? Whatever, that comes to mind. The searchers all say they'd have made Whitefish Bay if they put 15 more miles behind her. Again, she was close to, Whitefish Bay. She was close to being able to, maybe stop, and not go down. They might have split up, or they might have capsized. So here we go again with the theories. They may have they may have broke deep and took water. My God! And all that remains is the faces and the names of the wives and the sons and the daughters. Again, I guess you would say the wives, the sons, and the daughters of these men on the ship, and that's all that remains. That's still here. Then we have the 6th verse. Again, there's so many verses here, but it doesn't matter. He could have sang this for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It's just, he could go on and on. Lake Huron Royal Superior Rings. Great detail again. And the rooms of her ice water mansion. Again, the way he words the stuff, his lyrics are just fantastic. Old Michigan steams like young man's dreams. The islands and bays are for sportsmen. He's just giving, he's telling you what everything is here. Old Michigan steams like a young man's dreams. The islands and bays are for sportsmen. That's what they're for. And farther below, Lake Ontario takes in what Lake Erie can send her. And the iron boats go, as the mariners all know, with the gales of November remembered. Again, just talking about all these things, talking about Lake Ontario, what, takes in what Lake Erie can send her, and it's just talking about water here, talking about the how it's all made up. My God, we're getting deep, and we're supposed to. Again, he took he was on a mission here to make a very good song, a very good tribute. And the last verse here, the 7th one. And again, I love how there's no chorus or anything like that. We're just telling a story. That's the point. In a musty old hall in Detroit, they prayed, in the Maritime Sailors Cathedral. So now we're talking about, their funerals, their the memorials, you would say. The church bell chimed till it rang 29 times. I apologize again, 29 times for each man on the Edmund Fitzgerald. The legend lives on, and we go right back. I like how at the end here he goes back to what he said at the start. The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchigumi. And again, the Chippewa tribe, I guess that's where that comes from. An indigenous tribe, you would say, perhaps. Superior, they said, never goes up her dead when the gales in November came early. I can't talk anymore. Anyway, but yes, again, the water never gives up her dead. I don't think they ever found the bodies, or maybe, I don't know if, again, it's been so long now, and I'm not up to date on my history here, but yeah, never gives up her dead. And it's just, again, it's so final, and it's so sad. And again, these families who couldn't have that peace, or have that peace of knowing how it all happened, how it all went down. Again, at this time in 1975, it took them years to even, think about how it all happened, at one point too. But anyway, I didn't want to do one more thing here, though. And obviously, Gordon didn't want this tragedy to be forgotten, and I don't think it would have either way, but of course, his song popularized it even more. Is that the word I want to use? I don't know, but of course, it's more known because of his song. It helped it become a more known event, I guess you might say. So I don't know, you guys don't have to watch this part, but I just want to mention every name, all 29 men who passed away. Again, no survivors, bodies were never recovered, I believe. So here we go, and I might mispronounce some of these names, but I just feel like I have to. Anyway, Michael E. Armagos, 37, third mate, and I'm given their ages and their occupation on board. Frederick J. Beecher, 56, porter. Thomas D. Benson, 23, oiler. Edward F. Bendon, 47, first assistant engineer. Thomas D. Borgeson, I apologize, 41, maintenance man. Oliver J. Champeau, if it's French, I guess, 41, third assistant engineer. Nolan S. Church, 55, porter. Ransom E. Cundy, what a name, Ransom Cundy, hello, 53, watchman. Thomas E. Edwards, 50, second assistant engineer. Russell G. Haskell, 40, second assistant engineer. George J. Hall, 60, chief engineer. Bruce L. Hudson, 22, deckhand. 22, my God, again, just, I mean, it's all sad, but again, 22 years old. Alan G. Kalman, I apologize, 43, second cook. Gordon F. McClellan, 30, wiper. Joseph W. Mazes, great last name, 59, special maintenance man, my goodness. John H. McCarthy, 62, first mate. Ernest M. McSorley, 63, captain. Eugene W. O'Brien, 50, wheelsman. Carl A. Peckel, 20, watchman, 20, my God. John J. Poviich, I would say, 59, wheelsman. James A. Pratt, 44, second mate. Robert C. Rafferty, that's a great name, Robert C. Rafferty, hello, 62, steward. Paul M. Ripa, 22, deckhand. John D. Simmons, 63, wheelsman. William J. Spingler, 59, watchman. Mark A. Thomas, 21, deckhand. Ralph G. Walton, 58, oiler. David E. Weiss, 22, cadet. And Blaine H. Wilhelm, if we want to go that way, 52, oiler. So there, I just wanted to say their names. Again, it's been almost 50 years now. And of course, I wasn't alive. But again, this has always intrigued me. This is always, I don't know, I don't know. So anyway, I had to do something about it. And I had to do something, I had to mention their names as well. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting. This was kind of a different, I guess, review, whatever. I usually do a reaction, but again, I just feel like I had to do this, and I did it. So thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, all this stuff. Really appreciate all the support, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.